If you're using your salary the same way you did a few years ago, you're already falling behind, even if you're earning more. In 2026, the biggest mistake isn't your salary, it's what your money touches first. Most UK workers think they need more discipline, more tracking, or more income. They don't. The real problem is the order your money moves in, and almost nobody ever changes it. I'm going to show you what I do differently with the same salary, not by cutting spending, not by budgeting harder, but by fixing the mistake that quietly drains people every single month. Most UK workers think the problem is their salary. It isn't. If pay was the real issue, everyone on the same income would end up in the same place financially. They don't. In 2026, the quiet killer isn't income. It's the order your money moves in, and almost nobody questions it. Here's the loop most people are stuck in. You get paid, it lands in your current account, life gets first access, you spend, then you try to save whatever survives. That order didn't collapse overnight. It just stopped working quietly, which is why so many people feel like they're doing fine while going absolutely nowhere. This matters. This order used to work. When costs were lower, when fewer subscriptions existed, when prices rises were slower, when money could sit in an account without being touched. In 2026, money doesn't rest. The moment your salary arrives, it enters an environment designed to extract it. Not maliciously, not dramatically, systematically. Direct debits, delayed charges, auto renewals, price creep, one-click spending. None of it feels reckless, which is exactly why it works. So when people say, I don't know where my money goes, that's not ignorance. That's modern money design. Here's something you might not know. Seeing your full salary in your account creates a false sense of control. You feel in charge because it's visible. But visibility is not control. Control is restriction, direction, and separation. Without those, your salary isn't being managed, it's being exposed. Think of it like this. Imagine your employer paid you in cash and dumped it on your kitchen table. You wouldn't say, great, I'm in control. You feel exposed because anyone could grab from it. Bills, spending, impulse. That's exactly what happens when your salary lands unassigned in your account. You're not controlling the money. You're just watching it disappear in real time. Control isn't visibility. Control is permission. In 2026, blaming discipline is lazy advice. Discipline assumes stable energy, stable emotions, and stable life conditions. Nobody has that consistently. Yet most financial systems require you to behave perfectly every single month just to stand still. That's not discipline, that's fragility. Here's the reframe that changes everything. Behavior is something you hope for. Structure is something that happens whether you feel like it or not. Effort depletes, structure doesn't. The people quietly building wealth aren't making better decisions every month. They've removed the need to decide. Willpower is reactive. It only shows up after temptation appears. Structure is proactive. It decides before temptation even exists. That's the difference between hoping you'll do the right thing and making the wrong thing harder to do. Most budgets fail for one reason. They ask you to make dozens of decisions after the money is already spendable. By then, it's too late. Decision making should happen before money becomes flexible, not after. That's the reversal most people never make. Here's the part that usually gets overlooked. Most people assume the problem is that they don't have enough money left over. But left over is a timing problem, not an income problem. By the time you're thinking about the future, the present has already eaten. That's why saving hard feels very hard even when spending doesn't feel excessive. Nothing dramatic is going wrong. There's just no protection built into the order. Here's another uncomfortable truth. When everything pulls from the same place, you end up making trade-offs in your head instead of in your system. You mentally debate, should I spend this or save it? And let's be honest, that debate usually happens at the worst possible moment. You're tired, it's the end of the day, you're standing in a queue or scrolling on your phone. This is not the mental state where great long-form financial decisions are made. That's not money management, that's emotional damage control. This is why people burn out on being good with money. Not because they're irresponsible, but because they're negotiating with themselves every single month. This is why structure matters more than effort. Structure removes negotiation, and when negotiation disappears, consistency appears automatically. If I was starting again in 2026, here's what I'd change first. I wouldn't track spending harder, I wouldn't cut small pleasures, I wouldn't try to optimize everything. I'd redesign where my salary is allowed to go first. Because money that never becomes spending eligible doesn't require restraint. Here's the principle, and this is the heart of the video. Your salary should not arrive as a lump of free money. It should arrive already assigned a job, not mentally, structurally. Money should be claimed before lifestyle gets access to it. Think about how airports move people. When you land, you don't just get released onto the runway and told, good luck, go and find your way. You're being routed. Corridors, barriers, signs, not because you're untrustworthy, but because without routing, chaos follows. Your salary is no different. When it arrives without direction, everything competes for it at once. Routing isn't restriction. Routing is how order is maintained at scale. And in 2026, your money is operating at scale, even if your income doesn't feel big. Your salary should never touch a place where everything competes equally. That environment turns intentional money into accidental money. It forces future priorities to fight present comfort, and present comfort always wins. Every effective salary system separates money into 3 invisible buckets. These are security, growth, lifestyle. That's it. And I'm saying this clearly. I'm not going into allocations here. That's the next video. Once money has a role, you stop negotiating with it. You don't ask, can I borrow from the future? Because the future already has a claim. This removes internal conflict, and conflict is what kills consistency. This works on average UK salaries. It doesn't rely on timing, it doesn't rely on markets or on optimization. It's not about being clever. It's about removing chaos from your cash flow. If this is clicking with you, genuinely clicking, that's exactly what this channel is for. Subscribe because the next step is where this becomes practical. The next step after this is where people usually go wrong, the actual allocation. In the next video, I'll break down exactly how £500 a month would be invested in 2026 and why some popular choices don't make the cut. If you're watching this on Tuesday, wait for a few days because the next video goes live on Thursday. It's the one you'll want to watch next.